Hey there, everybody. I hope that you are having a great day. I am doing some projects with small scraps today. I have this big stack of scraps, so I'm just going at it. You can use all kinds of things to do scrap pieces. You can use clothing tags, or you can use what I'm doing here is just using some cardboard that I cut from the back of a paper stack. I think they're super handy. I've also got some stamps. My main mission today is to take all of these strips and scraps and make the small stuff into bigger stuff. And that's basically what I'm doing. So what I have here is about a 3.5 by 5 cardboard card, and I'm just squirting on some of that wonderful Eileen's tacky glue and just gluing down strips. Just whatever hits my fancy is going on my little cardboard here. Like I said, you can use this little technique for ATCs. You can use it for clothing tags. My fella got me some of the nicest clothes for Christmas, and I was just super excited because I got stuff to wear. It's really nice. He is a very good gift giver, and he always, especially when it comes to clothing, he can pick out clothing for me a whole lot better than I can pick out clothing for myself, quite honestly. So I'm making use of the little scraps that I cut off the bottom here. So just kind of squeezing everything in, and then I'm going to trim them up again and put them away, because I never know when I might need that tiny little scrap when you're doing something like this. It's almost like a puzzle, you know. You're kind of just seeing what's going to fit and what looks best and all that sort of thing. So I've got my basic card done. Now I want to add something to it, and that will be some sort of, you see those teeny tiny embellishments? They are super small, and they started out life as stickers, but they lost their sticky. So some of them are sticky and some of them aren't sticky. I'm just kind of getting a little bit of Eileen's and sticking this one down. I think they're Christmas themed, but they're black and white. And they say things like blessings and peace, and then they have these cool designs on it. I'm pretty sure that somebody meant those to look like snowflakes, and some of them do, but some of them are just swirly designs and just super pretty. I love to use the bottom of paper. You know, that little half-inch strip there that informs you of the paper maker and the title of the paper. I cut those off and use the words that are at the bottom of your pads of, well, not pads of paper, but when you buy a piece of paper, you usually find something at the bottom that talks about the maker and everything. All right, so we're ready for our next little card, and I'm taking advantage of some half-inch strips this time, just seeing what's going to fit, what colors I like. This is one of those projects, y'all, you can do with a cup of coffee in the morning. It's a great starter for your art day. It's a great thing to do if you are constantly interrupted, because because there's like no rhyme or reason to it. You know, you aren't going to drop a stitch or miss something if you step away from it for a minute. The reason that I'm doing this morning is I'm waiting on my heating repair guy. It was 12 degrees here last night, and my heat quit. But it's okay. I called them this morning, and they're sending someone over to do the repair, so I am super happy about that. But I knew that I couldn't really record a video for you this morning and do the talking at the same time, because I was waiting on this fella to call and show up, which he did, and we've got heat. Yay! Very happy. Very, very happy indeed. I'm trimming pieces off, and I don't know, what did I do with this one? Let me see. Oh, yep. I found this cool lotus, and I thought, well, that's pretty neat. And then I thought I might frame that lotus with some leftovers from things that I have punched out of a part of a scrapbooking kit thing. I like to keep my leftovers because I think they make super cool frames. I decided not to use the frame in this one, but I do use it later on. More Eileen's. I love using Eileen's tacky glue for things like this because it really does adhere really, really well. You'll see me use glue stick, but I'm really not fond of the glue stick that I have. I need to invest in some glue sticks, some good glue sticks. I think I see my friend Leanne over at Creatively Free to Be Me using an Elmer's glue stick, so I need to try that. This is a word, again, from the bottom of a piece of scrapbook paper, and it says captivating. And I thought that would be a great word. I love the word captivating anyway. Thought it would be a great word to use. And you can see me pulling paper from different places. I have my long strips, and then I have my rectangles, and then I have my embellishments up there. I have some stickers. It's just kind of, I did take time, y'all, before I started to separate my scraps. And if you'll note the photos at the beginning of this video, you can see what my scrap pile looked out like and what it looked like after I sat down and organized my scraps, or I got everything in its place, and then of course I left myself a place to create in the middle of that mayhem that you see. I'm having fun with glue again. This time I'm going to, I think I go from left to right this time, and just put things on and see how that turns out. I'm really loving the colors that are turning out here. It's just fun. It's really easy, and it turns out well, and it's you could put the kids to work organizing your scraps and separating everything into stacks, and then they excuse me, guys, could separate everything into colors and that kind of thing for you. So it's one of those things that you certainly can get the kids in on, and I think the more you can get the kids in on in an early age, at an early age, the better off they are. My little art career started when I was 7 years old, and I had a teacher in the 2nd grade, and her name was Ms. Madrid, and she was amazing. That's where I fell in love with music. That's where I fell in love with art. My uncle was also a huge music fan as well as an artist, so I think that he was one of my very, very early influences around that age as well, because I remember sitting beside him on the sofa at my grandma's house, and he would draw what he saw on television. So this was like 1965 or so. It's one of my earliest memories, is sitting on the sofa watching my uncle draw things. Again, I'm using words that say far away. That was the title of the paper that I was using. I took a sticker off that sticker sheet over there because it made a super cool frame for that little far away little word piece there. These are the cards that I made. I'm really happy with them. It's kind of fun to just sit down and, piddle with art. I love making new things for my journals, y'all, and that was really like kind of my mission this morning, was to wait on the heating guy and have some fun and make things for my journals. I love to make new things to put into those journals for you guys, and I like for you to see something different and something cool and funky and something that you can do yourself. There is nothing to this, y'all. Nothing to it at all. And it's a lot of fun, even if you don't even match up the colors. See, my colors really don't match on that one, but that's okay, because that's what I picked up to play with. So da-da-da. Not thinking is really the best in the world. Just kind of going with the flow, going with that inner voice, you know, listening to that inner spirit, because I tell you, your inner being loves art. It loves to play, it loves to cut, it loves to draw, it loves to put things together. It is, you know, you think about creativity and, you know, where did that come from? And it comes from your inner being. Your inner being is all about you being creative. These are some tiny little ABC stickers. Again, you know, I'm very much trying to use things that are too small. They're too small to be functional. So I am trying to pull those onto bigger pieces and just make bigger pieces of art with them. You could use this technique to make bookmarks, like I said, ATCs. You could really like even do something like this for parties, or as a party favor, you could gather everybody around the table and say, here are my scraps, do something with them. Something like this would be nice, and just let people go with it. It's a fun thing to do. And that little tag says joy, and I may make that into like a bookmark and you know, tie some fibers or stuff onto it. One more to show you, and I think the bookmarks are just, again, the pieces of paper that I cut from the, you know, that really nice cardboard in a paper stack, and it's usually on the back, and I have a whole little stash of that stuff because it is so incredibly useful. So again, I'm going for the long strips this time. And I think I'll only choose 2 because that looked good. So I put those 2 down with Eileen's Tacky Glue. Yep, I like that. I think that's the Tim Holtz paper, and boy, I love Tim Holtz. Love that paper. And now I am out of it, which is why I'm using those tiny scraps. If you're out of something, just use the tiniest pieces. I know that that's going to work pretty good. And I'm going to trim that off. Just the little, you know, the little strips. It's kind of like making a quilt, isn't it? And now I'm using my leftovers from the little cardboard pieces that I punched out from the, it was an art journal kit. And so I'm using those as frames. Never discount that stuff. You know, when you have something that you're punching out, really the cardboard form that it's mounted on is always really interesting. And I'm using more of those tiny, tiny little things that, tiny little stickers. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.